Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm going to show you tonight how to use web proxies to enhance your experience using various different scrapers. Particularly, I'll be talking about yellabot. For those of you who are not really familiar with proxies, I'm just barely going to touch on this because if you're not having a problem with yellabot, you probably don't need proxies, or if you haven't run into this issue before, if you're not some extensive user of yellabot or some other scraper, then you probably very well may not have an issue that requires the use of proxies. But for those of you who are sort of familiar with it, but you're not really sure whether or not you need proxies, yeah, I think you'll know when you need them. You'll run into, like, if you have yellabot open and you are trying to run some searches and you run into a forbidden big red letters flashing that says your IP has been blocked, then you're in trouble, or you've hit a brick wall at least until you understand how to use proxies. So if you haven't run into that problem yet, you're okay. You probably don't need to watch this video until you do run into that problem. And this is a problem that exists primarily for those people who are more power users or extensive users of this tool and various other different scraping products out there. So if you run into a problem and your scraping software ever stops working for some reason, it's probably most likely because whatever site you're trying to scrape is blocking your IP address, because it's discovered that you're probably using some sort of automated solution or a robot to do it. So I could probably easily show you what that looks like. So let me go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to go ahead. Now we're going to go to hidemyass.com and click on IP port proxies. Select the United States, and we'll update our results. And I'm just going to randomly grab an HTTP proxy here, and the IP port is 2124. I'm just going to copy this into yellabot. So I'm going to go ahead and test this. It shows success, but I'm going to go ahead and save and apply this. And we're going to go back here and refresh the page. It shows you're trying to use coding on this network. So you can run into all sorts of problems when you start trying to use proxies from various different places like HideMyAss. The problem when you try to find proxies online from free sources is that sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. You just have to be a little bit careful. This one does seem to be loading, but I'm not so sure what's going on here. So I'm really just trying to highlight some of the problems that people run into when using a scraper like this. So we're getting this error, forbidden access. Apparently you've been blocked for breaking one of the 3 laws of robotics. Then again, we could be wrong. If you feel that this is in error, please contact us and we'll remove you from the bot list. What they're saying is basically that they think that you're accessing their website through the use of a robot. Yellabot would effectively be probably considered a robot. Refresh the page here. Oftentimes it's going to look a little bit different than this with big red flashing letters, but it just depends. You know, you can find good working proxies out there through sources like HideMyAss. There are many other different forums out there. You can just do a search for free proxies. You can find proxies that work. This one doesn't seem to be working, and most of these that I've checked have not seemed to be working. However, with enough effort, you will find some proxies that work on here. Another solution would be to use an automated scraper that goes out and actually scrapes proxies and checks them out for you and that kind of stuff. So let me go in and I will show you my own solution. This is called Proxy Storm, and what you do is you just click on Gather Proxies. There's different settings that you can set up. Geo filters too. You can just find only proxies from the United States, for example, and various other different settings that you can work with. Then you come in here and you click Gather Proxies, and it goes out on the web and it finds tons of different proxies. And then it goes through and it will filter the proxies, and it will run through and test the proxies for you and make sure that they're working. If you find proxies that are working, you still have to come in and test them to make sure that they're going to work with yellabot. I'm going to copy this proxy here. This is an elite proxy. I'm filtering by elite from the United States. Let's put this new proxy in here. It's port 80. Put the port here, test it, save it, then let's go back into the browser and refresh the page and see if this one is working. And this is working, but it's a pretty slow proxy. It's not giving the results that I really want. Here's another one. Test this one. And let's refresh here, see if this one's any better. As this is trying to load, I'm going to go back to Proxy Storm and look for another one. Just randomly choosing. Seems to be loading also. You can see it's working here to load the server, but because it's so slow, I'm not really excited about using that proxy either. So as that's working, I'm just going to go ahead and change this. No reply to that one. Let's go ahead and grab another one. So this can be a pain in the butt, as you can see. This can be a major pain in the butt. Let's try this. Seems to be working. So that one did eventually load, but pretty slow. So I'm going to go ahead and try to load this one. It's the new proxy. Okay, now this one's loading much faster, and usually that's all it really requires, is that you just search around until you find a proxy that does work well and that's a little bit faster than the others. They seem to load pretty quickly. Now it's kind of dragging a little bit, which is not uncommon with proxies. You just kind of you tend to get some pretty unreliable proxies. But so we've loaded, and right at this point we can go through. We don't have to worry about the forbidden access anymore. You can search for whatever you normally would search for, and you're going to get results. Again, you might get a little bit slower results, but sometimes they tend to be pretty fast. I mean, so you don't always run into this problem. Go ahead and just begin extraction. Go through, and you can see that this works just as if you were using your own IP address from your computer, but it's actually running through a proxy. So anyway, that's the solution. I know that's a long way of explaining to you. I really just wanted you to see the problem that people are having. So they're going to go to yp.com and do their search, or to a different server and do their search, and they get this forbidden access. And so the solution, again, is you just go into your proxy setting tab, and you add a different proxy in there, test it out, turn your proxies on, and just keep on doing what you're doing. Now, there is a better solution than that. There's a better solution. Let me see if I can get in here. I'm going to go ahead and abort this for now. So we didn't actually get any listings because the proxy was pretty slow. But let me go ahead and hop in here and I'll show you a better solution. You can have this set up to just go through and find proxies for you every hour, and then save those to a location on your computer. Or you have a task manager here, so you can do things like save it to your computer to a location, or upload it via FTP to your server, and different things like that. You can also funnel it into different scraping software. I won't get into all that, but I've just saved this list manually, saved it down to my computer, and then I FTP'd it up to my server, so I can show you how to do this inside of Yellabot. So in this case, we would get the list from the URL, and I saved it to yellabot.com proxies.txt, and we test it, and I'm going to detect slow proxies, and I'm going to time out after, say, 20 seconds. I'm going to save and apply, and then we'll go on over here and refresh the page. Alright, let's go ahead and do another search for restaurants in Encinitas. And, okay, let's go ahead and begin our extraction. This proxy is doing quite well. And again, this is just pulling the IPs directly from my server. What it would do though is it's just going to circle through all the different proxies that are in my list at this file here. Let me go ahead and load this up in the browser for you so you can see it. All this is just a list of proxies. So it would just cycle through these proxies, and anytime it finds a proxy that is not working for some reason, it will stop using that proxy and it'll move on to the next proxy until it finds one that's working. So that's the easy solution. Less manual work, less frustrations. It's a lot easier. Now, if you were to want to use a solution, if you don't have Proxy Storm yet, you will save yourself a ton of frustration working with any scraper, including Yellabot. That's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and abort this now, and you can see that this is all working great and fine. Yeah, so that's how I do it, and that's how I suggest that you do it. There, like I said, you can do it manually, but I don't know. If you're anything like me, I just try to avoid doing anything manually because my time is valuable more so than a few dollars. You know, it's going to save you tons of time. So there it is. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. You can do whatever is necessary for you and your particular needs. Most people probably don't need proxies if you're going to kind of take it easy. I can still go in. I've never been blocked. I'll just go ahead and turn proxies off, and I can go in, search at yp.com using my own IP address, my own IP, and I'm fine to do searches. But there are other people who are just really heavy users and they run into this sort of problem regularly, so they have to use proxies. I do sometimes. I especially use the power user version of Yellabot to go out and just do multiple searches. I might set up 20 or 30 different searches and have it go through, and in that case I definitely have to use proxies. But just generally speaking, I'll just do a single search, get enough results for a site, and be on my way. So anyway, there you have it. I hope this has been useful. I know people have been asking for a video like this for a little while now, so if you have any questions, be sure to contact me or Daphne or any of our staff through support.eatworm.com, and we'll be happy to help you out.